characters in Scripture, with whom do you identify most? Quickly, just turn to the person next to you and answer that question. Who do you relate to best in the Bible? Go ahead. Now, by way of hands, how many of you said Peter? David? Mary? Martha? Balaam's donkey? Have a couple, good. Now, for me, I don't have to think very long to answer that question. It's easy. Of all the people in the Bible, the one that I relate to the best has to be the elder brother in the story of the prodigal son. I know what it's like to be the oldest son committed to playing by the rules. I went to the right schools, and I dated the right girls, and I went into the right profession. Sometimes people ask me, so why did you go into the ministry? And usually I can put a real spiritual sounding spin on any answer that I give, but at least part of the truth lies in this need to live up to the expectations of my dad, who was a minister. I know all about the elder brother. For many years now, I have suffered from a spiritual malady that I'll call EBS, Elder Brother Syndrome. I've had it for many years. Way back when I was in college, I remember starting into a relationship with a young lady. It looked very promising because she was a nursing major. She played piano. I was a theology major. And so you do the math. It looked really good. That is until one Friday evening. Dropping her off at the dorm, I casually quipped, I'll see you tomorrow morning in Sabbath school. She shot back, no, I'm not going to go to Sabbath school tomorrow morning. What? No, she explained, I'm really tired. I'd rather sleep in, and I think Sabbath school is boring. I remember going back to my roommate in the dorm saying, she doesn't go to Sabbath school. I'm dating the mark of the beast. Now, the truth is, I would have much preferred to skip Sabbath school myself. I thought it was boring, and I was tired. I would have preferred to sleep in, but because I was committed to playing by the rules, I showed up at Sabbath school the next morning. I understand the elder brother. Been fighting EBS for many, many years. We meet the elder brother in Luke chapter 15. If you have your Bible, you can turn to the story or find the story in the outline of your bulletin. You probably remember the story of the kid who demands his father's inheritance early, and then he goes to the big city and he squanders the money. He comes to his senses and decides that even the hired hands back at his dad's ranch have a better life than he is living, and so he decides to go home asking for a job. And of course, the father would hear nothing of it, and immediately the father invites the kid back into the family, and he throws a big celebration in his honor. And this is where we meet the elder brother in verse 25. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. And when he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. And so he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. Your brother has come, he replied. And your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. An old story, probably apocryphal, I don't know, that of a Sabbath school teacher teaching her kids this story. And to introduce the elder brother, she tries to prompt the kids a little bit. And she says, now there is one in the story for whom the return of the prodigal son does not bring joy or celebration. It only brings bitterness and disappointment and anger. Who is that? One kid shot up his hand. He said, the fattened calf. Which is true, but not the answer she was looking for. And she was going after the elder brother. And here, as the story unfolds, we see symptoms of elder brother syndrome. You can make a note of these if that's helpful in the outline of your bulletin. The first symptom is that of anger. Notice the next verse, verse 28. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. This would have been a very striking thing to the people originally listening to the story. that the elder brother refused to go in because in the ancient world, it would have been expected of the elder brother to serve as a co-host with his father at this party. It was a big party because they killed the fattened calf, suggesting that everybody in the village would have been invited to this party. But the elder brother refused to go in. Now, if the kid had a complaint against his father, it would have just been assumed that he would work that out with his dad later, in private. They took this very seriously in the ancient world. You remember the story of Queen Esther and Queen Vashti. When Queen Vashti refused to go to the banquet of the king, what happened to her? She was deposed, lost her throne. Well, here, this kid refuses to help his father. And this would have been seen as very disrespectful for the people originally listening to the story. Now, of course, had the father wanted to play a certain trump card that parents love to play, no doubt the kid would have obeyed. I mean, the father could have just insisted, you get into the party. And if the kid argued, he could rely on that age-old response from parents. Why? Because I said so. I remember my parents sometimes tired of arguing with me, and then finally coming to the point where they just say, you do it. Why? Because I said so. I swore as a kid I would never say that to my kids. Now that I have 2 kids of my own, I say it all the time. I love saying it. I say to the neighbor dog, get out of my yard. Why? Because I said so. I just love that feeling of authority and power. And had the father wanted to do that, he certainly could have. But of course, the dad, he doesn't want just obedience. He wants a surrendered heart. And so the father tries to reason with the boy. Now just picture the scene. There is a party going on in the home, but the kid sits out on the porch, stewing in his anger, brooding over how unfair his dad is being to him. Truth is, he probably enjoys sitting here on the porch, rehearsing in his mind how unfair it is, how much he hates his dad and hates his little brother even more. There's a certain nice feeling about convincing yourself that you're right. So here he sits. He kind of enjoys torturing himself, smelling the barbecue going on inside, seeing the dancing, hearing the laughter, but he sits on the porch. Frederick Buechner writes, of the 7 deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, to smack your lips over grievances long past, to savor to the last toothsome morsel the pain that you are given and the pain that you are giving back. In many ways, it's a feast fit for the king. The chief drawback is what you are wolfing down is yourself, the skeleton at the feast. It's you.